What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Obviously, the background's a bit different. I am in South Africa right now, no longer in London. This will be home for the next 10 days or so. So yeah, this is probably going to be the background, guys. So no green chair at the moment, unfortunately. But let's get straight into it. Let's talk Terence Crawford versus Amir Khan. Before we talk about it, because I've already seen a lot of Amir Khan bashing online. Some good, some bad, some needed, I think. But before we talk about it, let's understand who Amir Khan was in the ring with yesterday. Amir Khan was in there with an elite with a capital E level fighter. I mean, Terence Crawford is no worse than number 2 pound for pound boxer in the world. Unbeaten, freeweight world champion. And a lot of people think he's the only man that can give Errol Spence the run for the money that he needs. So he was in there with a very, very special talent, almost similar to Lomachenko versus Krolla, right? They're in there with elite level opponents. And we also have to understand that Amir Khan hasn't beaten, not even an elite, but a good fighter for what, 5 years? 5 years? What, Devon Alexander? Good fighter? I think most people would agree back then was a good fighter. That's Amir Khan's last win against a good fighter. So he's fighting an elite level fighter in Terence Crawford, and his last win against a good fighter in Devon Alexander, who's not elite, by the way, was 5 years ago. I said in the lead up to the fight that Amir Khan would have some spots, would have some success. He had a couple of spots, right? He landed a couple of right hands, nothing special. But look, it doesn't help when you get knocked down in the first round, does it? I mean, it doesn't help you throwing a lazy jab and Terence Crawford throwing a nice little overhand right and then a little left and it puts you down. I mean, all your plans kind of go out the window, right? Because I guess the mindset going in from Virgil would have been, look, we can outbox, fingers crossed, maybe we win, I don't know, 4 of the first 6 rounds. And then it's a case of we survive. We survive until the 12th and who knows, right? And that kind of just goes out the window when you get the first round as a 10-8. The confidence would go low. Knowing that you can be countered at any time wouldn't help. And I just felt like Amir Khan from then on, again, had some spots after, but from then on just looked like a dead man walking. Really looked like a dead man walking. We've seen Khan lose before. I mean, if you're a Khan fan, if you're not a Khan fan, you know that Khan loses, right? Khan gets hit on the chin, he's in trouble. But we haven't really seen him outboxed before. We've seen him outmanned and out-toughed. Lamont Peterson kind of outmanned him a bit. But the others have been kind of just, it's been cool, right? But we have never really seen him outboxed, outmaneuvered, counter-punched, better foot movement. We haven't really seen that. Terence Crawford outboxed him yesterday. And that's demoralizing if you're Amir Khan. Amir Khan's the boxer, right? We know he's not the toughest. We know he's not the strongest. He's fast. But what he's good for is being a very, very good boxer, an elite level, high level skilled boxer. And yesterday he just got completely outboxed. In fact, watching that, I don't know if it's Terence Crawford is such a good boxer or Amir Khan's boxing skills have just gone bad, right? Bad. I mean, he was jumping in with his right hand. He was smothering his own work. Even in the shots where he did land a couple of right hands, he kind of smothered them. He smothered them. It's almost like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like his hand speed is so fast, his foot movement can't catch up to it. So he's almost doing that. He's almost like his legs are trailing behind his hands, if that makes any sense. So at times he looked sloppy. He looked sloppy and he looked a bit clueless in terms of what to do. Just because I think like Terence Crawford was outworking him. Terence Crawford was looking at that lazy jab and just landing that right hand, and he landed that right hand at will. And again, for Amir Khan, knowing this was your best chance to win in terms of outboxing Crawford, it went by the wayside very, very quickly. All right, let's jump to this. Was it a low blow? Did Khan quit kind of talk that's going around? First and foremost, it was a low blow, but it was definitely on the top of the thigh, right? I mean, if Khan is saying that it hit him straight square on the dick, then that's not the case. It was a low blow that hit him on top of the thigh. What that would do, that would definitely give you a dead leg, right? Can you recover from a dead leg in 5 minutes? I think so. I think so. It wasn't reason enough, I think, to say, you know what, I'm done. I don't think it was, all right? And that's a shame. So for me, that's kind of thrown in the towel. I don't want to label Khan a quitter because Khan has been in there and done some crazy things in the ring. And Khan isn't the type of person I think that would throw in the towel. But I think yesterday he did. I think yesterday it became very apparent that I'm not going to outbox this guy. I've not got the punch to stop him. And he's just better than me. I'm in there with an elite level guy that's causing me all sorts of problems and I don't know what to do. That's what I thought. And that kind of low blow, whatever you want to call it, gave him an excuse to say, you know what, let's just get out of here. Let's collect the $5 million check, whatever it is, and let's live for another day. Because Crawford was starting to become mean Crawford, right? I mean, I think Max Kellerman has spoken about this with Terence Crawford, that he smiles a lot and he jokes a lot, but there's sometimes it's almost like a switch goes on and he turns into mean, I want to hurt you. And I think that from round 4 and 5 onwards, he wanted to hurt Khan, and he was hurting him. And I think Khan kind of felt like there was no way out. And I think that low blow gave him an excuse to say, you know what, we're done. We're done. Because even when you see it on slow motion, it clearly hits him on the top of the thigh. It hits him here. No way does it hit him anywhere near the cup. So it's bad. It's bad. And look, the last thing any boxer wants to get labelled as is a quitter. It's the last thing, right? It's a case of go out on your shield. Go out on your shield. I just feel like Khan had no answer. I thought Khan had no answer, and I think Terence Crawford shows there are levels to this. There are levels to this, and I don't know what next for Khan. I don't know what next. I mean, obviously, don't talk about Brook. No, please don't. There are people saying that maybe that should be that. Possibly. Again, I go back to the fact that he was in there against Terence Crawford, right? So that does help, right? He didn't kind of call it quits against, a journeyman. He was in there against the pound for pound number 1 or 2. So it does help, but I feel like Khan he hasn't got it anymore. He hasn't got it. He looked a bit slower in terms of speed. Speed is his number 1 thing. He looks slow. His punch resistance is getting worse. I mean, that punch that put him down in the first round, it didn't even look like Terence Crawford caught him clean. I know timing is what kills, but it wasn't like Terence Crawford put everything into it. So his punch resistance seems to be getting worse. I mean, Terence Crawford kind of caught him a couple of times and the legs went wobbly a couple of times. And again, Terence Crawford wasn't sitting in on his punches. He wasn't sitting down on them. He started to do that in round 5, but he wasn't doing that in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Just kind of worked Khan out. Khan didn't like it to the body either. So there are a number of things that Khan's going to have to go back and watch the tape on that and think, you know what, is this still for me? That was a world title opportunity. Is Khan prepared to go down a couple more levels? He spoke about going down to those levels and he doesn't like it. He said he doesn't get up for those fights, the Vargases of the world. So I don't know. I pray to God we don't get Khan Brook. I really do. Because if I'm honest with you, Brook will stop Khan. Like, I'm so confident that Brook will stop Khan. I really am. Just because Khan isn't as good a boxer as he was, and Brook's a good boxer. I still don't think he's a better boxer than Khan, but Brook definitely has more power than Crawford. And I think Brook could severely hurt Khan if he lands clean. So I don't really want to see that fight. There were talks in the aftermath about Crawford maybe fighting Brook. Crawford will beat Brook as well, if I'm honest with you. I think Brook will be a lot better than Khan. A lot better, by the way, because Brook's just got a big size advantage and can box and is a bit more composed. He's not as reckless. Khan is very reckless. So it's interesting to see what both will do. Obviously, the fight we want is Spence versus Crawford. Ain't going to happen until late 2020 if it does happen, but that's a good fight. That's a good fight. Crawford's a little killer, He might not be as big as Spence, but when he smells blood, he goes for the kill. And yesterday, he boxed very well. Went to the body very well, went to the head very well, mixed up, switch hit a little bit. So he's got a bit of everything. Again, let's not be too harsh on Khan. He was in there an elite level boxer. And at this stage of Khan's career, Khan is just a good boxer. And like I said in the outset, Khan hasn't beaten a good boxer for 5 years. So what did we really expect? What do you guys think? Anyway, let me know. Peace.